We had a wild race, as we always do, at the Daytona International Speedway. And once again, congratulations to Eric Monaco on his Daytona 500 race victory. Well, unfortunately for Monaco, he's not in this race here today as he failed to qualify, but 42 other drivers are here, ready to get the real start of the season. The real heart of the season started here today at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Guess what? We're back at the original version, not the original version, but the good version of this racetrack. And these guys are going to be slipping and sliding all around this racetrack here today as we run the Truist 400 here, the third race of the Wawa Cup Series season. 65 laps here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway in Hampton, Georgia. Let's see who gets it done here as we get our first mile and a half on the schedule underway here in the 2025 Wawa Cup Series. Hello everybody, this is AG here and welcome to the Atlanta Motor Speedway and the original version. On saying that it's not really the original version, but the version before the one we have now where they're super speedway racing and all that. This is the one, the 2021 version of this racetrack, just before they went ahead and did what they did to it in real life. Of course, we ran the super speedway version of this racetrack the past 2 years here in the Wawa Cup Series, but we are back using this version and we get some excellent racing here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway in this version. If you saw the Turkey Hill Truck Series race back in September, that race was an excellent one. Actually, our closest official finish of the year with Nicholas Samedeo winning that race. Here today, it's the Wawa Cup Series and their third race of the season, and it's going to be very different than what we saw last week at Daytona and even at the Auto Club Speedway. But this is a race where we anticipate seeing the strong drivers and teams running up front near the end of this race. Even though it's only 65 laps, we're going to see those good drivers find themselves up front by the end of this one, and I think we're going to have ourselves a winner who we expect at this point in the season. Joined alongside Stuart Gratton and Matt Tuck for the first time. And we got this Turkey Hill Truck Series booth now in the Wawa Cup Series, and you guys are going to be hearing a lot about Gratton Autosport and Team Velocistar here today. And Stuart, I will start off with you. Not necessarily the best of starts to the Gratton Alliance going into Daytona, coming out of that race, but you're in your wheelhouse here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. You got your uncharted driver of Darian Arnsdorf in this race. Ludovic Charette starts in the 8th position. What are your expectations for the whole Gratton Racing Technologies Alliance here today in this Truist 400?
Given the qualifying performance of the team as a whole across Parker Davis Enterprise, of course, our team at Gratton Autosport and Team Velocistar expecting quite a bit of speed today. It's a very, it's 2 races in, and obviously the rating forms are very different here. But a lot of the good teams, a lot of the teams that are expected to be up here, they're starting up towards the front, and it's going to be very interesting as the year goes along because I think it's going to be a closer competition, I think, across the board, from top to, throughout the top, 20 cars, for example. So, still very early days. A lot of, you got some surprises up here like Darian and Zayden Davidson and the 00. They make up row 3, rather, 2 uncharted drivers. So you do get some surprises here and there, but for the most part, you got a lot of really good teams and really good drivers starting up towards the front. But in terms of what our expectations are, we expect to be fast, so we expect to win today.
We'll have to see how that ends up shaking out. Of course, you guys have Daniel Paulus Jr. starting on the front row, and guess what? He comes into this race as the defending race winner of the Truist 400. And Matt, I know you have a lot of expectations with Daniel coming into this race and into the season as a whole. What was your message to him before this race began here for this Truist 500, looking for him to go back-to-back at the Atlanta Motor Speedway?
Yeah, this would be a different kind of back-to-back, back-to-back at 2 different types of Atlantas, but I think he's got a better car. I think he's on a better track type to do this at, and it'll be fun. Starting from the outside, he's going to have to work his way to the bottom, but he's also got his teammate about 7 rows back, Matthew Huber, starting up here in the top 20, so both the boys look really strong, showing good in qualifying. I don't care as much about qualifying, though, as long as we're in the right position when it really counts, and that Celsius DJI 54 and that DHL 15 are going to be fast. But to Stuart's point, you got Braden Perez is on the pole, Kirsten Bell is up there, that is Avery Alford, Darian Armsdorf, LJ Semedo's up here again. Logan Williams, Crampton. You see Blaine Keys is right there in front of two of our cars on the outside lane. So, I mean, there's some big players up here. It's going to be a dogfight. And I think, like you've been saying, it's going to be more of the guns that we expect to be fighting up here today.
And it'll be a lot of fun with this race as well, especially the way they race here on this version of the Atlanta Motor Speedway. They go in pretty fast, but they have to slow it down on the corners quite a bit, and we're going to see some significant tire wear, not North Wilkesboro levels of tire wear, of course, or maybe the levels of tire wear we're going to see next week at Circuit of the Americas, but it still comes into effect, and these guys will spread out if we get a long green flag run, and those faster cars, those better drivers, will find themselves up front as this race goes along. Mentioned Braden Perez, it's the first time we mentioned him here today, won the pole for this Truist 400 here at Atlanta, and that's a bonus point towards the championship for Mr. Steal Win. Well, he's starting on the pole position, so at this point he wouldn't be stealing it from anybody, but Perez has had a great season in that 44 for Millennium Motorsports to start off. He's 8th in the point standings. He's 17 points behind, actually technically 16 points behind LJ Semedo, who comes into this race the points leader. Where Semedo won the pole last week at Daytona for the 500, had a solid run in the 500, had a solid run in the dual races, had a solid run at Auto Club, and that's why he's your points leader, 4 points ahead of Travis Crampton, who also starts top 10 here today in that number 98 machine. Justin Zeidel, 8 points behind. He also has a great starting position in that 3 machine. He was the runner-up last week at Daytona. Our defending champion, Ladovic Schret, also starting top 10 here today. She's also 8 points behind. Alex Sanventali and Zayden Davidson, both with great starting positions as well. They're both top 5 in the points, 9 points behind Semedo coming into this race. Laura Chung, another driver to watch out for in this one, though she doesn't have the best of starting positions. Braden Perez, of course, on the pole. Nicholas Sanvideo on the truck race here. Bernardo de Oliveira's had a great season. He starts inside lane. We're already seeing certain drivers have advantages over others, and I think the top 10, we could see a good 6 or 7 of those guys make the chase once we get down to it in June. But thank you for watching here today. We're excited to get this one started with Braden Perez on the pole position alongside Daniel Paulus Jr. We got Avery Alford, Kirsten Bell there in row number 2. How about the uncharted drivers of Darian Arnsdorf and Zayden Davidson? They are in row number 3. And those were the 6 guys that made the Fast 6 on Thursday. A lot of speed out of those uncharted drivers. LJ Semedo, our points leader, starts at the inside of our defending champion of Ladovic Charette, and Logan Williams alongside Travis Crampton there in the 98 machine. Our hot seat drivers for the day, Anthony Hernandez in the 42 for Racing Motorsports, and then Marcus Glitch in the 91 for Evans Ross Racing. That's the first time the 91 has been in a Wawa Cup Series event this season. Let's go ahead and get these drivers to roll off here from the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Now we've got Braden Perez starting there on the pole position for this race here today. Stewart and then Matt. Is he going to victory lane here today, or will be somebody else getting it done here in the Truist 400?
I think he's in with a good team in the. I drive for Chase in the JBL Cup, so I'm gonna say that. But I don't think he's going to go to victory lane. I'm going to go the guy right behind him. Maybe a bit of a surprise, but Avery Alford in the 13. It's fast at Auto Club. Ran up in the top 10, top 5 for a lot of it. And he's in this race.
I'm going to go one car just over to the right, and I'm going to go the 93 Kirsten Bell, ERR Racing. You know, I mean, we can obviously sit here all day and talk about us, but ERR Racing Echo is not far off the pace at all. I think there's times Echo's team is better than us, and I think Kirsten Bell is going to find her way to victory lane here today.
We'll have to see what she can do there, starting from the 4th position. Of course, don't count out Daniel Paulus Jr. I know you guys don't want to jinx him. He won this race a year ago, albeit on a different racetrack, but he's got a lot of speed. And hey, Braden Perez, pole position for Millennium Motorsports here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. It's going to be a lot of fun. Well, it's going to be a lot of fun regardless for all 42 of these drivers here today at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Great to be back on the 2021 version of this racetrack. It's going to be a great race here in North Georgia. Here we go. It's the 3rd race of the season in the Wawa Cup Series. The Truist 400 is underway here from the Atlanta Motor Speedway. How about this start? It's kind of like we're on the new version of the Atlanta Motor Speedway, maybe in real life, but I know you like to see that, Matt. Daniel Paulus Jr. on the outside lane, getting the push from Kirsten Bell. They were side by side that entire lap, and they're sliding around all over the place back in there. We saw Arnsdorf lose it in the middle of the corner. Logan Williams slid up there. Some wild racing early on here in this Truist 400 at Atlanta.
This is a racetrack where you can slide up and get into the outside wall, so something to keep in mind as this race goes along. You saw Bell slide up the racetrack there in turn 2. Luckily for her, didn't end up working out too badly because she remains in the second place. But on the outside lane, inside lane, Cimetta there trying to work his way forward in the 71. The points leader, of course. A strong start to the season and hoping to make the chase, of course, once again. This, after missing it last year. See a lot of 3 wide going on, and just got to be mindful. Got to be mindful of 4 wide. They typically like to go. They can go 4 wide, getting off into turn 1, and that's something that these drivers have got to be really mindful of as this race goes
when
along.
Arnsdorf's in the wall.
Darren's in the wall.
That's the second time he slid up mid-corner, and that's going to hurt him. He's going to slip back in the 11. No, he didn't want to see that, Stuart, but I know Nathan likes to see this. Travis Crampton up to 3rd in the 98 machine. This is a guy who has had a lot of success at Atlanta in the past, so he's never been able to close it out. He's led a lot of laps here in the Wawa Cup Series in the past, and I know he has a chip on his shoulder from those past races here. We'll have to see what he can do there on the outside of Avery Alford, who's running in the 3rd position. Alex Sanventali there for Andrews Racing inside the top 5. Here he comes. Blaine Keys. Caleb put it best when we were at South Boston. You can fear him, you can run from him, but you can't escape Blaine Keys. And even though he's not had the best of starts, too, with this Wawa Cup Series season, this is his wheelhouse. Won 6 races last year, including a lot of races on intermediate racetracks. We knew that this partnership with Pacific Racing was going to be strong, and here he is, running now in the 4th position as all these guys slide mid-corner. And Avery Alford going for the race lead here on Daniel Paulus Jr. here on lap number 6.
Yeah, Avery Alford, he won Homestead last year in that thrilling season opener. Then it kind of fell apart there with that whole situation, but he's with a new team and a really good, underrated organization in Team Williams with Duncan Ward as his teammate. I like this pairing. I like this team, how they're laid out for this year. And real quick, as he's going for the lead, Alex Avatali, we talked about his development driver, Emily DiBenedetti in the Truck Series. This development program, the head of this program, looking really strong here, taking the Andrews Racing 61 machine that we really haven't seen up front since Ludovic Charette was wheeling it. He's up here fighting early on in this race. Fantastic stuff here from Sam Vitale.
Yeah, Nathan would tell you, and I think he mentioned a lot, last week at Daytona. It's a guy who came to the JBL Cup Series last year, which runs a very similar system to how we run it here in terms of the ratings, and he had a very good year there. And here he is up to the 4th position, getting around Blaine Keys. You know you're running well if you're getting around Blaine Keys inside the top 5. Bernardo Oliveira looking to do the same thing there. The inside lane stalled out just a little bit. Alfred up front. Here comes Kirsten Bell in the inside lane. Here comes Tanner Parton looking 3 wide there on the inside of Perez. LJ Cimetta as well, the points leader, trying to get a good run here today. I'll tell you what, who knows who's going to win this race at this point? How many of these guys are all scattered all throughout? A little bit of a gap back in here. You got Nicholas Samadio just outside the top 20, getting the inside of Nathan Smith, Roberto Crown Jr., Angel Gutierrez. That's Marcus Glitch in the 91. Not a good run for Jack Haas. Of course, there's a double top 5 for Evans Ross Racing last week at Daytona. Jack's teammate there of Kirsten Bell currently leads the field, and the number 93 is Tanner Parton. He stepped away for 15 seconds, and he went from nearly 8th to 2nd, just like that. How about that for Tanner Parton, who we've been talking about here? This is going to be a driver to watch for the season, as we've got De Oliveira in the outside wall hard in the 0 machine. He scraped a guy into the loose stuff right there, and he's going to fall back.
Yeah, he was really riding along that wall, and you saw the 44 and the 51 got held up as a result as well. So something to keep in mind when you get around the pit stop. The Oliveira's had a good start to the season. the car's been fast in a lot of the races. But, it was up front at the time with the pit stops at Auto Club where everything kind of fell apart with the caution, but not doing, unfortunately, now in the wall and dropping back. But how about Parton? He's a guy that missed out on the chase barely in 2023. He's driving for Dog Pound Incorporated, and he ended up at Nathan Norman Motorsports last year. Had to take over the team mid-season. It was a tough season for that team as a whole. But here he is, driving for a much better team, NS Racing. Let's be honest. And he's now out in front here at Atlanta. This is very impressive from him. Very impressed with Logan Williams as well, the 95, trying to work his way into the top 5. Pretty sure he's run well here in the past, too, if memory serves me correct.
First, Logan Williams, we keep on talking about how he needs to make the chase this season. 3 wins in the Wawa Cup Series, and he's still never even come close to making the chase there with Appalachian Motorsports, and he's seen his teammate easily make the chase and run for the championship past 2 seasons as well. But Logan's a great driver. We all know it. And when Logan is good, he is really good, and he's off to a little bit of a better start this season than it has been in past years, and a good run for him right now as he's top 10. Tanner Parton has cleared. Kirsten Bell with Sam Vitale looking to the inside for second. And this is a guy who's 5th in the championship standings coming into this race, and I know you like to see this, Stuart. Isaac Nichols, fellow countryman there in the top 5, and I seem to say it like every race. Great to see Isaac Nichols back. Well, he is back. He's going 3 wide for second here. Paulus looking to follow him right there on the inside lane. Going now, here comes Laura Chung. Remember that truck race that we had here back in September? She lost it by 2 1,000ths of a second to Nicholas Samadillo. Well, now she's top 10 in the 20 machine for Rutt Racing. This is a team that has found a lot of strength early on in the season as well.
Yeah, Rutt Racing. Oh, Isaac Nichols, Parker Davis Enterprises here. This is what you love to see out of a brand new team here. Just flying his way through the front of this field. And Isaac Nichols, I'm not fully in remembrance right now. It's been a couple of years since we've seen him here on the channel. Correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, it's been a long time. So for him to hop into the target ride here, I mean, this is awesome for Max Davis to see his squad up here. A Grattan Racing Technologies affiliate team here going for the lead on NS Racing. The GRT cars 2-3 at the moment. Paul is whipping it to the bottom of the racetrack, but Kirsten Bell's going to make it 3 wide. This is just such a more fun racetrack than the New Atlanta. You can make the New Atlanta really good, and I think you had done a really good job at it, but it doesn't compare to the style of racing that this older version of Atlanta gives. It's the multiple lanes, the true contenders coming up here and just controlling a race. Fantastic stuff here early.
And it has been an excellent race so far here in this Truist 400 at Atlanta. Great stuff out of these drivers here today. Kirsten Bell to the inside of Isaac Nichols for second. Tanner Parton still looking very strong in that 97 machine. And this racing tends to find a lot of success here. Of course, Travis Crampton has been up front in a lot of these races in the past. Of course, that was the old Atlanta, but still, Crampton's still running well as well, just outside the top 10 right now. How about Duncan Ward on the 23 machine? Not the best of starts to his season, but this is a guy to watch out for as the season rolls along. Of course, his teammates running top 5 right now. The Oliveira fell back to the 13th position there. LJ Cemento, our pulling seater, is 14th. Ludovic Schroeder, defending champion, is 15th. You got Darian Arnsdorf, our pole sitter, Braden Perez, has fallen back to 17th right there. Not necessarily the way he wanted to start this race. Aiden Davidson, only uncharted driver to make every race so far this season. He currently sits 6th in the championship standings. Just ahead of Nicholas Samadillo there in 19th. Samadillo is in that 19th position right now. And you got Anthony Hernandez in the hot seat there. This is the team that won the Daytona 500 last week with Eric Monaco. And they're currently in the 20th position. Bruno Diacomo, Nathan Smith, Jack Haas, Angel Gutierrez, Thomas Troxel struggling here today again. He struggled at Daytona last week. Our Auto Club winner not off to the best of starts considering that win. Our Smooth Fest winner there, Brian Webb, Trey Bartow, Roberto Crown Jr., Andrew Miller. Matthew Hubert deep in the field for you guys. Carson Miller, Rogel Dorn, Christian Master, Drew Webb, Zachary Fitzwater, Marcus Glitch, Philip Torres, Justin Zeidel, Jesse Turner, Leonard Cosmer struggling today. We really expected a lot of the Cosmer going into this season, and so far it has not really worked out too well for that 41 team, but still early on in the season, you got Brad Stover and then Jared Martin. NS Racing, well, for a second there they were bookending the field, but Isaac Nichols has other ideas. To the race lead in the number 6 for Parker Davis Enterprises. And I know you like seeing Isaac Nichols under the Grattan Racing Technologies umbrella, Stuart, and here he is leading this field on lap 21.
Yeah, he's doing an excellent job. You got to remember, too, he started 24th, so he's really worked his way through the field in this race. And led a lot at Daytona as well. Had quite a big chunk there where he was leading that race. So the car is clearly fast, and they got that one hooked up. But the field, the top 10 cars have now started to spread out. quite a bit. Don't know what happened to Alfred. He dropped a lot of ground. He's ended up actually behind Semedo. So he's, I don't know if he's hit the wall or something's happened in the 13 because he was right up there. So I'm not sure what happened there, but I'm sure he can make it up. Same with Ludovic, Perez back here as well. Darian's doing a good job in the 11s. Aiden Davidson's had a great start to the year, and he also drives for us in the Body Armour Light Series West, so a shout out to him. He's doing a good job. But been a very impressive, a very entertaining start to the race, I should say. But we're coming up to pit stops probably within the next 10-15 laps.
Nichols and Parton going after here for the race lead. Speaking of the Body Armor Light Series West, what a wild race we had at Kern County on Tuesday. Well, I'm not going to spoil it for you guys, as both of you are owners, but it was a good one. No doubt about it. Parton slipping up there in the second position. Kirsten Bell looking to take that second spot away. Logan Williams and Blaine Keys. Blaine Keys looking to get that momentum going here on these mile-and-a-half racetracks. You know, last year he almost won at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Actually had the dominant car in that race before. He had a tire go down and had all those issues. But at that moment, we didn't know it yet, but I had a feeling that Blaine Keys was going to be the guy to beat in the 2024 season after that dominating performance he had at Las Vegas. And it turns out that we were right. And one driver did beat him, and that was Ludovic Charette. But he is looking to regain vengeance there. Back with Pacific Racing, a very strong team. And I think we're going to see another dominating season out of Blaine Keys. We've already seen a dominating season out of him in the Body Armor Pro Series, 3 for 3 over there. We'll have to see if he can get a win here today, possibly. He's got a good opportunity. But so does Tanner Parton, and I know Tanner Parton would love to get his first career Wawa Cup Series race victory. This is a guy who has been in every Wawa Cup Series race and really hasn't even come close to getting an official win. Yes, he did win the dual race last week. That's not an official Cup Series win. This would be. And he's to the inside of Isaac Nichols for the race lead here on lap 26.
You know, the one thing that's going to be very interesting to watch here, I mean, we're watching Tanner Parton, Isaac Nichols, Kirsten Bell, you always expect to be up front, but I have a feeling, you know, and I could be wrong by mid-season, so somebody could clip this and come back, you know, later in the season if I'm wrong, but I think it's going to be much more difficult for a Blaine Keys or Drew Webb type dominance arc this season. This field is deep. If you look through this roster of drivers this year, this field is deep. You have guys doing rating series now in multiple different categories. It's good. Oh no, that's a big slide. That is not the kind of slide you want. But that it's going to be harder, I think, for a Blaine Keys, Drew Webb type run this year. And I could be wrong. You know, hopefully if it happens, it's Daniel Paulus Jr. Oh no, you gotta stop talking. But that's just my opinion.
We'll have to see how it ends up shaking out as the season rolls along, but I think we're already seeing drivers and teams who will be strong this season, like Tanner Parton. I think Isaac Nichols will be up there driving for Grattan Racing Technologies and Parker Davis Enterprises more specifically. I think Duncan Ward's a guy to watch out for as well. I know it's not been the best of starts of his season, but Team Williams is a team to watch out for. They had Braden Perez in this ride a couple of years ago when he won 3 races, had a shot at the championship. And it was actually the championship leader late in the season in 2023, Perez was. But obviously, Drew Webb took that title. De Oliveira is a guy who I am very impressed with at this point in the season. And I think he is backing up that impressiveness here today at Atlanta. He's 10th in the point standings, and Rut Racing is a team to watch out for as a whole. I think they've upgraded their program entirely. Laura Chung's a guy to watch out for as the season rolls along as well. She's going to have a very good season. I'd expect Rut Racing to get their first win here soon with either one of their drivers. I think both of their drivers have an opportunity in making the chase. Paulus has slipped back a little bit there. I know you didn't really want to see that down the 12th there. Got stuck in that outside lane. These tires are starting to really give out on these guys. And you have to know what's underneath of you going into these corners, because if you think you got more grip than you do, you're going to shoot up into that outside wall. We've seen that happen a few times here today.
Absolutely, we just saw it then with San Vitale in the outside wall in the 61 in turn 2. So it should be all right. Didn't scrape it, didn't hit it too hard, so it should be right. But Kirsten out of the inside of Isaac for that second position. The 6 looked really fast before he's just kind of, once he took the lead, he's kind of dropped a little bit of pace. So not sure what happened there, but obviously, as Matt said, you'd expect Kirsten to be, you know, thereabouts based on what she did last year as well. But the field's really spread out now. I mean, they were all right on top of each other before, going 2-3 wide. once Parton's now pulling away from this guy, so Bryce Egan now in the wall. And that's a lot harder. He's really right up against that wall. That was a lot harder than what Sam Vitale did not too long ago. So that might be a longer stop for the 9.
Might do it again right here. These guys are spreading out throughout the field here, and race winner, if this thing stays green, more likely going to come from the top 10 at this point, because it'll be hard to really make up 5 seconds if you're back here like Ladovic Shrek, who really hasn't moved her way up through the field. She's stayed in this 15th position. Alfred in the wall ahead of her. She's going to gain one right there. And also Brayden Perez in the outside wall. And it's like I said, these tires are wearing out, and these guys have to know what's underneath of them before going into the corner. And some drivers are doing better than others at that. Darian Arnsdorf, great run for him in the uncharted ride. Of course, the uncharted guys are eligible for the Wawa Cup Series Championship. They just have to make the races, of course, and Arnsdorf has made 2 of them at this point. He's top 20 at the moment. Now Travis Crampton here inside the top 10 as well in the 98 machine. Isaac Nichols and Kirsten Bell going after. Logan Williams, definitely a dark horse for this one. We're going to be closing in on the cycle of pit stops here in just a couple of laps. We're past halfway here in this Truist 400. It used to be the Truist 500. It's now the Truist 400. But we'll be back here again for the Chase Cutoff race. I think that's going to be a very fun one under the lights for the Celsius Peach Vibe 400, as Tanner Parton really slow in the corner right there. The tires are just wearing out a lot. I thought we may have had a caution there. We're still green. Parton really eased it into the corner and got a good launch off. We saw that in the Fast 6 on Thursday in the qualifying sessions, but these guys are going to have to come down here very soon because these tires are giving out here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway.
I think we're going to see a few players come into this fight, though, in just a couple episodes this cycle. And I'm looking at Jarrett and Arnsdorf, maybe Sam and Joe, to potentially take advantage of some of these drivers who I have a feeling are going to need longer stops. Instead of Vitale, we think I think these guys have gotten around Avery Alpha. We've seen a couple of these drivers do some really big wall rides, and I have a feeling that's going to need a longer pit stop, and I think that means drivers are going to be able to take advantage of it. So watch out for a couple of these drivers back there. I mean, look how heavy the tire wear is. You get an undercut in 1 or 2 laps. You get an undercut 1 lap. That could be worth a ton of positions on track in that opening lap. You overcut, it'll hurt you in the short run, but at the end of the race, you could be the fastest car on track. It's the beauty of how this Atlanta plays out.
We still don't have anyone down the pit lane yet, but I think this time around we're going to see some guys come down the pit lane, and when you come down, it could very well determine if you get the race win or not. No one yet. There's Arnsdorf. He's going to be the first one to come down the pit lane here in the uncharted ride for Gradden Autosport. Only one coming down this time. Now, there is an advantage to come down early, but if this race stays green and we end up with these guys who come down later still in the fight, they're going to have better tires at the end of the race, and that is going to come a long way on a track where we get significant tire wear. Tanner Parton now going to come down from the race lead. And we're going to see Logan Williams. A lot of these guys in the inside lane coming down the pit lane, including Blaine Keys, Travis Crampton, Bryce Egan, Ladovic Shrek, Avery Alford, Nicholas Samadillo back in there. Drivers who stayed out here in the Truist 400 as of now: Isaac Nichols, Kirsten Bell, Duncan Ward, Alex Sanventale, Daniel Paulus Jr., LJ Semedo, Bruno Diacomo. They might be at an advantage if this race stays green because, like I said, they're going to have fresher tires near the end of this race, assuming it stays green. And there's Nichols. Oh, no! Oh, no! And it was just like Kirsten Bell, though Paulus was not dominant in this race. That is not at all what you want, Matt. And Daniel Paulus Jr., defending race winner of this Truist 400, has blown an engine just as the cycle of pit stops are about to begin.
And that's really hard to watch, and that's going to hold up Semedo. You can see he's trying to push him along there a little bit. Jeez, that's horrible luck for the 54. Was running a pretty solid race to that point. Logan's got out ahead of Tanner Parton. That is a change for position. That's a big change for position because Parton was the leader when he came down. So good stop from the Appalachia guys, and not so much from the 97. Although the 97's going to try and round him up on the outside. And have a crack here at this 95, but Williams,
they're right on each other.
Williams is a guy that could very easily win this race. Obviously now given with the pit stop, but doing a very nice job, and
that's for the lead.
That's out
now,
really well because
I think Nichols is still going to be very much in this. Same with, look at this, Roberto Crown Jr. I don't think he's on the lead lap, unfortunately. No, he is a lap down, but he's going to be in the middle of all this. Duncan Ward, though, is on the lead lap. So is Travis Crampton. All of us cycling through right here. And Tanner Parton taking the race lead back away from Logan Williams. Laura Chung's up to third. Remember what happened in that Truck Series race? I know I already mentioned it, but I'm going to mention it again. Runner-up, and this is a driver who has not won in over 2 years on the channel. I know she'd love to get her first ever Wawa Cup Series race victory here today at Atlanta. Place where she was denied that win in the Truck Series just a few months ago. Isaac Nichols is fourth, but he's going to have fresher tires as this run goes along. Duncan Ward, Travis Crampton, Bryce Egan, Blaine Keys. Not the best of stops for Kirsten Bell. Bernardi Oliveira rounds out the top 10. Nicholas Samadio 11th. Good run for Nicholas, and this is what he does. He finishes right around this part in like every race. And by the time we get to the end of the season, he's one of the best drivers in the point standings. Ludovic Charette is 12th. Darian Arnsdorf is 13th. Alex Sentimentali, Bruno Diacomo, Braden Perez, Angel Gutierrez, L.J. Cimento, Avery Alford, and Zayden Davis in the top 20 here. Lap 43 of 65. As this race goes along, oh boy! Oh. You saw that on the corner of your screen. Laura Chung to the race lead, ahead of Tanner Parton and Logan Williams. We've got ourselves 23 laps to go here at Atlanta, and Laura Chung looking to get one for Joe Rutkowski here on the Truist 400.
All right, Laura Chung, you know, like we've been saying, that truck race early last fall was excellent and lost out to almost caught Nicholas Samadio, or let me rephrase that, did catch Nicholas Samadio, lost that race by a matter of inches. She wants some redemption here to get racing into victory lane early, and racing, honestly, early on in the season, looks like they might be the stronger Chevy team between them and Appalachia Motorsports, which is not something I think we thought would happen early on in the year, but they are taking the fight to them. And Duncan Ward, Travis Crampton, watch out for Isaac Nichols, though. That extra lap there, it doesn't help you at the start of the run, but we know how heavy the tire fall off here is. That one lap could make such a huge difference here, and he could just be sitting there waiting for the right opportunity to get around these top three.
I think Duncan Ward's the last driver in line here who has a chance of winning this race. I think Bryce Egan, Blaine Keys, Kirsten Bell, De Oliveira, Nicholas Samadio, they're just a little bit too far behind, unless a caution happens to come out, but kudos to these guys for running a clean race. Everyone except for Paulus. I'm sorry about that one, Matt, but you know what you gonna do. Still in this race, Roberto Crown Jr. the only driver a lap down. Everybody else still on the lead lap. All 40 of them on the lead lap here at Atlanta here on lap 46. Here comes Logan Williams to the inside of Laura Chung. Williams has a shot at winning this race. I know he'd love to get it for Caleb Rose here today at Atlanta. But Tanner Parton, Laura Chung, Isaac Nichols, Duncan Ward, those are 3 guys in the top 6, actually 4 guys in the top 6 who have never won a Wawa Cup Series race before, all with a huge opportunity, and Isaac Nichols might have the best opportunity in this number 6 machine. What a race for him here with Parker Davis Enterprises and Max Davis, the owner of this team, of course under the Grattan Racing Technologies Alliance, looking to take third away from Logan Williams here on lap 47.
Gotta keep an eye on Crampton though, the 98. He's 5th. And he and Duncan are closing in. But, you know, comes into this race second in the points. And, you know, I think with Travis, we've always known he's a good driver. He didn't make the chase last year, but I think that was born out of bad luck than anything else. We won at Michigan last year. He is closing in. He's always been a fast driver. I wouldn't be surprised to see him there or thereabouts by the end of the race in terms of competing for the win. But I think it's his teammate. I mean, if you're Nathan Stapleton, you are loving this because Parton's running really well. Even if Parton or Crampton, if either driver doesn't win, you know, they're still going to finish top 6 by the looks of it, and that is a very promising sign for a team that, you know, has not really competed for an owner's title before, but they're running really strong in this race.
And these guys, I think Parton is a great fit to this NS Racing team, though. He had a bad entry into the corner there. Laura Chung's like, I'm going to take this outside lane, and I'm going to lead this lap. Or will she? Oh, boy, she did. How about that for Laura Chung there? That probably was a true dead heat at the line. And what a move out of Laura Chung to utilize the outside lane to get around Tanner Parton and take the lead, coming to 15 laps to go. That is such a... wow, that is such a great move for Laura Chung. and Rut Racing, but Tanner Parton still in this. That's going to bring Logan Williams. Duncan Ward all of a sudden is in the 5th position. He got around Travis Crampton. We're going to have a 6-way fight, and honestly, if things get crazy enough, Blaine Keys and Kirsten Bell could find themselves in the mix. Parton back to the inside for the race lead. Nichols looking to take second from Laura Chung. 15 laps to go here in the Truist 400. It's getting good here in Atlanta.
This has been, I said it earlier in the race. I don't know how you can prefer the new Atlanta over what you're seeing here today. I mean, this is, you got the entire track they're using up. You got tire strategy. You got a great long run here. Guys and girls can pass each other, use the entire racetrack. This is the kind of race that we want to see. Look at this run he's going to get on the bottom. Isaac Nichols took years off a race here on the channel. Comes back, hop in with this brand new team here, Parker Davis Enterprises under the GRT Alliance, and it's not Grattan or Team Velocistar carrying the banner today. It's Isaac Nichols. This is fantastic stuff. And don't look now. There's a bright rainbow car coming through the field.
He is flying. They got to be prepared to get dunked on here in a moment because that 23 is the fastest car on the racetrack. Duncan Ward. And we'll mention it earlier. This is a driver we expected to run well. I think, there was initial thoughts, may not necessarily work out initially at the start of the season, but that 23 looking very good here as we close into the later stages of this Truist 400. Isaac Nichols still holding on to the race lead. Tanner Parton has led the most laps so far in this race, though. He's going to lose another position. Laura Chung, that's not good for Duncan. A little too aggressive into the corner. He's still not out of it yet, but Logan Williams looking to take 4th away here from the 23 machine. Crampton still on this one. Kirsten Bell and Blaine Keys are closing in fast as well. I don't think they're out of this one yet either. But Isaac Nichols looking to get his first ever Wawa Cup Series win. It has been a long time since he's won on the channel. I think 2018 would have been the last year he went to victory lane. And here he is with an opportunity at getting a win in the 3rd race of the season. Tanner Parton, Laura Chung trying to get their first wins as well. You have to get to Logan Williams before you get to a driver who's won a race in the Cup Series before in this running order.
Absolutely. Oh, but you got to cue the Jaws theme because the 93 and the 32 are the ones that could really shake things up because they're flying. You got to remember with Kirsten as well, came down with Nichols at the same time. So she's also got a lap younger, fresher tyres compared to drivers like Parton and Chung, and I think Duncan Ward also came down at the same time as Bell, if memory serves me correct, and Nichols. So I could be wrong about that. But the fresh tyres, may or may not play into account here. But then also we've got the lap traffic that we're about to run up on Justin Zidell and Brad Stover, and Nichols has got it. You can't let Laura Chung get to the inside here as you're approaching the lap traffic. You don't want to be stuck behind the 3 and the 78.
Unlike last week at Daytona, this lap traffic's it's running pretty fast, so it may not be as easy as just having the faster car and getting to the inside. And Nichols knows that as Duncan Ward, Logan Williams, they continue the battle. They're all still in a line, still within a second of each other from Crampton on up, but they're having some difficulties getting around each other at this point. Parton going a little wide there into the corner, trying to get a run off the outside. Crampton's going to take 5th away from Logan Williams. NS Racing still with both of their drivers in the top 5, though Parton did lose the race lead to Isaac Nichols. This 6 machine may be the guy to beat at this point. Trying to get to the inside of Justin Zidell, lap the number 3 machine. Laura Chung going to try to find a good lane and maybe have an opportunity of getting around the 6 in this exchange.
Yeah, this has been a fantastic race here in race 3 of the season, and we're getting to see one of the better races here. Folks, we're going to get to come back here for the Chase cutoff race. Now imagine, in a couple months' time, if we come back here and we're seeing this fight, and we have a bunch of winless drivers fighting for the last wild card spot, the last Chase spot. I mean, this is excellent stuff here. I think Duncan Ward's running out of time. He's not, we've seen how crazy the wrong spot by the leaders, and he could be right back in this, but he's now got 2 lap cars to get by. He's flying, but he has 2 lap cars to get by, and then he has to get by Chung and Isaac Nichols, and that's not going to be easy because these 2 cars have been excellent here today. What a story for Isaac Nichols here early on in the season.
Isaac Nichols Lord Chung cannot get around Brad Stover right there. Nichols has to be careful not to let Stover get back to the inside of him, though I don't think that's likely. And Chung slipping back just a little bit. And that tire strategy really coming into effect for Isaac Nichols. That one lap making enough of a difference where he's been able to hold on to this race lead. It's 5 laps to go here in the Truist 400 for Isaac Nichols and Parker Davis Enterprises. Lord Chung here in the 20 machine trying to get around Brad Stover, and she is having a lot of difficulty doing so right now. That's allowing Nichols to just pull right away with this thing. I don't think we're going to get in the Fitzwater in the 99 before the end of this race. For third, you got Duncan Ward trying to get around Tanner Parton, who is still yet to get around Justin Zeidel. Travis Crampton trying to get around his teammate for fourth right there. Kirsten Bell and Blaine Keys, their run has stalled. And then you got Bruno Diacomo and Bryce Egan inside the top 10. Sam Medeo still in 11th. Ladovic Charette still in 12th. But back up front, Laura Chung, will she finally get around Brad Stover right here? If she can get this 78 out of the way, she's going to have an opportunity, but only 3 laps left here in Atlanta. Laura Chung trying not to finish second again here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway, but she's running out of time.
The one thing you've got to remember with Chung in that truck race, she almost took it away because she was miles behind Sam Medeo on the last lap, but made a storming run to get to the 23 truck in that race. As Parton's in the outside, take him out of contention. We got 2 laps to go. This thing's not over yet.
It is not.
Ward now up to third.
Duncan Ward may have a slight chance of this, but that's only if Chung finds a way to the inside of Isaac Nichols, which, to your point, Stuart, she did close right in on Nicholas Samedeo in that truck race and almost took it away. She's in the same position she was in that truck race here. Duncan's going wide. That's not good for the 23.
Oh, boy.
And Chung's trying to close in all she can as the white flag is out here in the Truist 400, and this is the closest she's been the last few laps. Will she have a shot on this final lap here at Atlanta?
Oh, it's just like the truck race all over again, and I don't think Duncan's going to have a shot.
Oh, she's got a chance. To the inside for the race lead. On the final lap, Laura Chung to the inside of Isaac Nichols. Will Nichols have the run on the outside? Laura Chung on the inside lane. We're going to do it all over again, aren't we? Laura Chung, Isaac Nichols coming to the checkered flag. It's going to be second again. Isaac Nichols wins the Truist 400 here in Atlanta.
Wow, what a finish. What a race. That was extraordinary driving by everybody in the top 6. How about Chung? I can't believe it. Second again. Eerily similar to what happened in the truck race, but it wasn't quite as close as the truck race. But my goodness, what a finish. Plenty to take her out of the 20. And, Isaac Nichols, how about this? Third Cup start since his return, and he goes to victory lane at Atlanta. That is pretty cool right there.
I'm sure Laura Chung is tired of that one. Wow. There's not enough grip on the inside at this point in the race to really make that move work. And, man, you got to hand it to Laura, though. I mean, she comes into this race 7th in the point standings. She's not going to be the points leader. That will be Travis Crampton, who finished 3rd here today. Got it around Duncan Ward there. Logan Williams with the top 5. Tanner Parton, Kirsten Bell, Blaine Keys, Bruno Diacomo, Bryce Egan back in there. Of course, Laura Chung. So close again. That was like identical to what happened in the truck race when she was trying to get around a Grattan-affiliated car for the race win. This is the first win for you guys under the umbrella, and I don't think it'll be the last, but did you think it was going to be Isaac Nichols who got the win here today? And a great run for him, and I think he's going to be a guy as we move on throughout the season who is going to have an opportunity to win more races and make the chase at this point.
Yeah, I think the entire group of Grattan Racing Technologies, I think the whole group is really strong. It's really deep. I mean, if you were to rank out all the drivers, I mean, if the bottom of your power rankings of our 6 full-time guys is Nathan Smith, do not sleep on him. He knows his stuff. So he's going to be he's going to get better. That's a great sign for Parker Davis Enterprises and Max Davis's squad. He's been starting to find some success in Stock Car World Cup, and now his team over here is winning. So he's having a great month. But tough break for Paulus Jr. there. Just not, I mean, he had a great run going too, and I think he would have been in contention to win this race. But Laura Chung, You got me tired of. You now lost 2 races. You are less than 700ths of a second from being 2 wins in a row here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway in side-by-side finishes to GRT machinery. Unbelievable race here today.
Absolutely, and I mean, I think you look at that top 10. That's a pretty good top 10. Even down to guys like obviously Samadeo, Charette, De Oliveira. Cemento's obviously had a great start of the year. San Vitale, Barto. I mean, this is a very stacked field this year in particular. A lot of these guys can go to victory lane. A lot of these guys can pull it off any given week. Even, you know, the guys at the rear. I mean, you got Rogel Dawn down in 35th. You got Hubert down 33rd. You got Koshma. You mentioned Nathan Smith before. Brian Webb won the Smooth Fest earlier in the year. I mean, a lot of these guys can win any given week. It's such a competitive field this year, but that was an extraordinary race. A great fun, great battling throughout, and really, I mean, some extraordinary drives. Nichols was fantastic in this race, and I'm a little biased because I know I've known him for so long. It's fantastic to see him go to victory lane after such a long time.
I mean, I would be biased too if Andrew won a race, but I don't think that's ever going to happen. I mess with him enough. But wow, what a race here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway.
For no reason. Off stray for no reason there, Andrew. Sorry about that.
Yeah, we've given each other the space to make fun of each other in that regard. Hey, what a race for Isaac Nichols here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway, and that's a Grattan-affiliated team. Parker Davis Enterprises, that's Max Davis's first win as an owner in the Cup Series. I'm sure he's going to be happy about that one, just as happy as you guys are, of course. And watch out for him in the championship standings. I think he'll probably move himself into the top 10. He was only about 7 points away from the top 10. Not much of a differential between those guys in the mid-pack and the points. But watch out for him. But Travis Crampton's going to be your new racer, new points leader. And he's going to be your new points leader going into the race he should have won last year at Circuit of the Americas. That's going to be different than what we saw last year. Bring in a different tire. Bring in the North Wilkesboro tire, essentially, to Circuit of the Americas next week. We're going to see ourselves a very high tire wear race. And strategy is going to really be a huge factor in that one. And there's no guarantee on who's going to win that one once we get down to it. Of course, Travis Crampton was on his way to an easy win last year at Circuit of the Americas and had a tire go down right at the end, and Rogel took the race win. I think it's going to be much different this year. Next week, next Saturday, we're going to be in March 1st for the Terry Black's Texas Grand Prix, the 4th race of the season here in the Wawa Cup Series. But Isaac Nichols gets the 3rd one of the season here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway, and I don't think it's going to be his last either. And we saw a lot of guys who are going to be up front in a lot of these races this season who finished well here today. Well, huge thanks to Stuart Grattan and Matt Tuck for joining me here today, and we'll see you guys next week from Circuit of the Americas with the Terry Black's Texas Grand Prix. That'll be a lot of fun for the first road course of the season for these guys here in the Wawa Cup Series. Here are the points for the Wawa Cup Series after 3 races. Congratulations to Isaac Nichols on his race victory, and on behalf of Stuart Grattan and Matt Tuck, I will see you guys later.